Boy, welcome. We got one of the biggest UFC fights of probably the year. I'm going to slap myself up from the bottom here. And I thought I'd give you guys my predictions and thoughts on this fight card because absolute banger. Probably, like I said, one of the biggest fight cards of the year. So we're going to stop at the bottom of the card and go all the way to the top. Really close fights. Lots of them that are going to be hard to pick, but I do think I got some good picks for this card. Really excited to watch this card. I think it's going to be an absolutely amazing card. So, yeah, we got that going for us. JDM versus Islam. Exciting stuff. So, yeah. All right, let's dive into it. It's one of those days. Just got back from a long day of training, so no coffee. Whew. And I'm in Austria right now, so it's going to be me watching these fights at 10 p.m. at night till like 5 in the morning. So we're doing an all-nighter, I guess. JDM versus Makhachev, great fight, super exciting. Obviously, Valentina versus Weili, super exciting fight. This is a tough one to pick as well. Brady versus Morales, another tough one to pick, another exciting fight. Dude, all these, I know it's like obviously the big card in NY, but like all of these fights are really entertaining fights and good fights. Like Dariush versus Saint Denis, like everybody on the main card. Thank fuck Bo Nichols on the main card. Like we can't have that shit out here anymore. But dude, everyone on the main card, exciting fights. Obviously the prelims are looking really good. Roman Kopylov versus RoboCop, Battle of the Chikes, Wellmaker, dude. Some good fights. Let's dive into it. There'll be timestamps for all of the predictions for each fight. So you guys can scroll the timestamps if you don't want to watch Borshev get smoked by Camille. So, yeah. But, yeah, first fight of the night is Borshev versus Mateus Camille. It's a tough fight for Borshev. He's, like, pretty well-rounded everywhere, but he's not really good. Like, we always think of him as, like, this good striker, but honestly, he's pretty mid. And I think Mateus Camille is just going to be too well-rounded, too athletic, too strong for him, and the grappling is just significantly better on Mateus Camille's part. So I think he's going to be able to out-grapple him and beat him that way pretty easily. Up next, we have by Senior Tsutsukaya versus McConaughey. Interesting fight. Tsutsukaya is the guy that came off of a contender series. He's like, I guess Hamzat's little butt buddy is what you call it. But yeah, he's good, but he's not as good as he thinks or other people think he is. Like, he really isn't. He had this fight on the contender series where, honestly, he got the KO and it was a good finish, but he looked kind of, in my opinion, he looked pretty sloppy and didn't look that good. I know he's got a lot of finishes and he's undefeated, but he looks pretty sloppy, in my opinion, and not super well-rounded. Like, his grappling's okay. His striking's sloppy, but still not bad, and he does have power, and he's got good finishing potential, and he looks for finishes, but I don't think he's like the next thing. Like, I'm not looking at him like, man, this guy's got insane technique. Does he beat Eric McConaughey? Honestly, I think it's going to be a lot. Let's see what the odds are. I think it's going to be a lot tighter than, dude, they have him as a minus 10,000, dude. I do think he might win, but I think it's going to be a close fight. Like, I still think McConaughey is going to make it a really tough fight for him. And if I was betting on this, I would bet on McConaughey just because those odds are retarded for Tsutsukaya. Like, he's not that good by any means. He really isn't that good. He's a decent fighter, but he's not like the next coming of Christ or anything like that. And Eric McConaughey is not bad. Like, he's not awful, but he's not great, but he's not awful. So those odds are insane. Angela Hill versus Fatima Klein. I wonder where those odds are coming from. Crazy. Fatima Klein's actually like probably one of the better, I guess, technical fighters in this division. She's pretty good. Angela Hill is old as balls. Like, she's been around here Angela Hill's been around here forever. She's got a lot of experience, a lot more than Fatima Klein, obviously. She also has a lot of losses, and I think she's 40 now, or she's almost 40. She's way up there. So I do think Fatima Klein's going to be just a little bit better than her in the striking and stuff like that, but it's still going to be a tough fight for her. Big step up in competition experience-wise. But I would go with Fatima Klein for this one. Up next, we have Pat Sabatini versus Shepe Mariscal. This is a really good fight as well. Dude, honestly, every fight that I've named off so far, I know we're still like on the early prelims, but all these fights are good fights. This is a good fight between that featherweight fight between these guys. I really like. I got something stuck in my teeth. I'm sorry. It's like an owl. Oh yeah. Oh, it's got. There we go. Yeah, I really like Shepe Mariscal. I think he's a really good fighter. He's not like one of these guys who's super flashy or you see him and he's like, oh man, he's like, he doesn't really stand out, but he's kind of like Anthony Hernandez, who's like he's sneakily good and he just kind of has puts pace on people and beats them, right? And he's done quite good in featherweight so far. He's beat Pat Sabatini in the past. I know it was a close fight and he won the decision, but he's really good at scrambling and grappling, which is Pat Sabatini's thing. But I do think, especially based on the previous fight, that he'll be able to, at least scramble up to his feet and avoid danger on the ground against Pat Sabatini. Like he'll be able to stop the submissions and stuff like that. So I think he'll be fine on the ground. And I do think that he's going to have the higher pace. He's really pushes a high pace, way higher than Pat Sabatini. So Pat Sabatini is going to be the guy getting a bit tired. And I think Shepe is better on the feet as well. So I'm going to go with Shepe Mariscal. I think he's just going to put pressure on him, more output, more pace, and he's going to be able to defend the grappling and scramble well with him. So I'm going to go with Shepe Mariscal to win this one by decision. People that have Pat Sabatini winning, but I think Shepe is going to win this one. Kyle Dawkis versus Gerald Machado. Fucking Kyle Dawkis, man. I'm not a guy to pick Kyle Dawkis. I'm not. But I'm not a guy to pick Gerald Mershard either. So I think I'm going to pick Kyle Dawkis to win this one. Gerald Mershard, he's a bit washed at this point. And he usually, if he is going to fluke a submission, it's in the later rounds. And he has done it a lot in the past, but not recently. So I think Kyle Dawkis is going to do it. He's back in the UFC. He's coming off of a really nice finish. And I think he's just going to keep that pressure going. I think he's going to take out Gerald Mershard in this one. So I'm going with Kyle Dawkis to win by finish. Gerald Mershard's getting finished by everybody these days. So I got Kyle Dawkis. He's a big favorite. Damn. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Ethan Ewing. This guy's picture is hilarious. But hey, look at this shit. UFC's finally got a picture of a guy who's making his UFC debut in UFC shorts on the page before he goes. For some reason, this guy's got a retardedly big dome. Like, his dome is, like, extra large for his body frame. His dome is, like, a 6'4" size guy's dome, but on a fucking bantamweight. They still don't have specs for him, but at least they have, like, his actual picture. I don't know why his dome's so big, but it is. Obviously, he's replacing Cody Haddon, who dropped out or, like, dropped out of the fight against Wellmaker. Tough to take Wellmaker on short notice, especially your first fight in the UFC. Obviously, you saw what happened to Chris Moutinho when he did that. Not ideal. The thing with Ethan Ewing is he does look like a half-decent fighter, and I think he will do like okay at bantamweight. Why does it say? It's in German. I don't know why it's in German, but it is. He will do all right in bantamweight, but I don't think he's going to be able to keep up with Malcolm Wellmaker. I watched some of his highlights and stuff like that. He's kind of a scrappy guy, but his technique is he leaves a lot of holes to get hit with things. Like, he's not super technical, not super sharp with the striking. And Malcolm Wellmaker is really good at counters and finding those shots that are going to hurt you and put you down. So I think Ethan Ewing is just a little bit too sloppy, I guess, when he's pressuring, when he's trying to put a pace on you, to avoid getting hit with a clean shot from Wellmaker. And I think he will get hit with a clean shot and get dropped. But he does have a lot of KOs on his record, and something to consider. Like, not KOs, but on his record. But he has some finishing power for bantamweight. So, but I do think he's going to get hit with a clean shot at least once, and that'll be it. The odds are decently close, but I think Malcolm Wellmaker should win this one for sure. Aaron Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez. One girl that looks like an ogre, one girl that looks like a Spanish mamacita. Just for the love of my soul, I want to pick Tracy Cortez. But it's a tough fight. Aaron Blanchfield's good. She's one of the better girls in this division. My thing with Tracy Cortez is that she's better than people give her credit. So I do think it's going to be a closer fight, but I don't know if she's going to be able to outgrit Aaron Blanchfield. But I think I'm going to go with Tracy Cortez to win this one. She does have good wrestling background. She does have high-level grappling. She's well-rounded striking-wise. I do think Aaron Blanchfield's going to be a little bit stronger, going to be a little bit more like a bully in this fight. But I do think Tracy Cortez could be the more technical, well-rounded. I think she's a live underdog, so I'm going to go with Tracy Cortez. But that's one that I'm not 100% on. Gregory Rodriguez versus Kopylov. Crazy fight, good fight. This one's going to be absolute banger. People are counting out Roman Kopylov, and I do think that he is not as good as we originally thought. However, I do think he's still a good fighter. My thing is just Gregory Rodriguez is an absolute fucking unit for this weight division. And I know he lost to Ken Nier, but this is a guy that if he just comes out there and tries to bully you and he does bully you, he's unstoppable. He's literally unstoppable, man. Like, he has so much power, so much like I guess what was it? He just imposes himself on you, so much like intimidation factor and just strength and everything. Like, he does gas out in the later rounds, but I don't think that he's gonna gas out against Roman Kopylov. He's gonna beat the shit out of Roman Kopylov in the first round just with big shots and kind of walking him down. And Roman Kopylov will be a bit cleaner in the striking, but not enough to avoid some big shots from Greg Rodriguez and avoid getting walked down. And I do think that Gregory Rodriguez definitely has the grappling advantage, so that's good. And by the time Gregory Rodriguez gets tired, Roman Kopylov will be tired too. He usually gets tired in his fights as well. So I'm going to go with Gregory Rodriguez to win this fight. I think he'll get a finish. He's just better in the grappling, and he's just such a big, imposing dude in this weight class. And if he hits you, like, you're going to get hurt. So I'm going to go with Gregory Rodriguez. He's a monster, man. Up next, we got Botnikov versus Rodolfo Vieira. Who knows how this little ginger is going to do, but I do think he's better than Rodolfo Vieira. So I do think he'll come back and he'll win. I know he's had some like kind of shit performances and he's lost some here and there. And, you know, the Bo Nickel hype is gone, but I do think he's going to win against Rodolfo Vieira, and he should be able to finish him. So I'm going to go with Bo Nickel. He's not as bad as we have been making him out to be, but he's also not as good as we originally thought he was. So yeah, it's one of those ones. Dude, this is a crazy fight. Benoit Saint Denis back. The God of War, eh? Old man Dariush missed weight, first of all. I think the fight's obviously still on because it's on the card. But I think Benoit Saint Denis is going to be able to deal with Beneil Dariush. I know that Beneil Dariush maybe is more technical, more experienced grappler, but Benoit Saint Denis is going to bring a different level of intensity to this fight that I don't know if Beneil Dariush is going to be able to keep up with. So I'm going to go with Benoit Saint Denis winning this one. I think he's better in the striking, although his striking is pretty sloppy. I think he's better in the striking. I think he's just going to be a little bit younger, a little bit more hungry, and a little bit more athletic than Beneil Dariush in the grappling. Like, maybe not as technical, but I think he's going to be a little bit more those things I just said. So I think he'll be able to at least hold his own in the grappling, if not do well in the grappling. And I think he's going to win this one. So I'm going to go with Benoit Saint Denis to win. Prates versus Edwards. Tough fight for both guys. Prates striking wise, I think he can do very, very well against Leon Edwards. And I do think that he can win in a striking battle against Leon Edwards. I think it's going to be close because I do think Leon Edwards' striking is quite good and he can be very technical with Prates. But Prates is one of these guys who's, when he lands on you, he hurts you and he finishes people. Whereas Edwards, minus his fluky head kicks, doesn't really finish people in the stand-up. So if it is standing, I think Prates is going to get either a finish or do the more damage and win the fight. But I do think he'll get a finish if it stays standing up. The problem is that Leon Edwards can mix in the grappling, and he's going to be a way better grappler than Prates. And I think if he mixes in the grappling, plays kind of this more smarter fight, he's going to be able to win a decision, kind of like Gary did against Prates. But the question is whether he does that or not, because, you know, even in his press conference interviews and stuff like that, he's like, I know I can win easier if I grapple with him and stuff like that, but I'm not going to do that because it's not going to get me back to a title shot quicker, which is interesting to say. Dude, Leon Mambamouth has got to at least win against Prates first. Like, he's got to be concerned about that. So that's the problem. I don't think Prates is as good as we think he is. I think he's good, but I don't think he's like, you know, going to beat the top level guys in this division. Leon Edwards is a top level guy in this division. I think his striking, he's going to be more technical and clean. But I do think he's going to get hit with shots and get hurt. So I think I will give the striking to Prates, but everything else is going to go to Leon Edwards. The question is whether he mixes it in. Again, there's a lot of tough fights to pick. I want to say that he's going to be smart, mix it in and get a win, but I can also just see him like not doing that for the first round, getting hurt with something and getting finished in the first or second. So plot armor wise, I'm going to go with Carlos Prates to win, but logistically, if I had to think of it like standpoint wise, I think Leon Edwards has what it takes if he plays it smart to win this fight. So I'm going to go with Carlos Prates, but I could easily see Leon Edwards winning here. Michael Morales versus Sean Brady. This is a tough-ass fight for both guys. I think Sean Brady beats Michael Morales everywhere in this fight. The problem is Michael Morales is so athletic, so explosive, such a big, strong dude for the division that if he just lands one winging shot on Sean Brady, he could hurt him and then just pounce for a finish. That's kind of like that's the problem here. Like Sean Brady, if he gets to the ground, Michael Morales is fucked. Sean Brady in the striking, although Michael Morales' striking is not bad at all, he's pretty sloppy because he has so much power and he's so athletic. I do think Sean Brady can even keep it like more clean and technical in the striking and mix in the grappling. He should be able to win. Sean Brady should be able to win. The problem is like, does he get hit with a big shot and that like drops him or something? And that's how that, like, you know, if he gets hit with a big shot from Michael Morales, he could easily get hurt. And Michael Morales, we know, will wing those shots, throw them with like 100%, and, you know, just hope that they land clean. And he's not setting them up. He's just throwing really hard in combos and stuff like that. And if he does hit him, he will hurt him. So it's crazy. These guys are 18-1 and 18-0. This is a high level fight, man. I'm gonna go with Sean Brady just because he's been on such a roll, man. I like where his head's at, and he does have an advantage, such a big advantage in the grappling. I could easily see him coming out kind of like a Hamzat and just shooting for takedowns right away and just holding Michael Morales there the entire fight and just dominating on the ground. So I think if he does that, he should win. So I'm going to go Sean Brady. Zhang Weili versus Valentina Shevchenko. This is a really tough fight to pick because both are so good. Obviously, Zhang Weili is at a disadvantage coming up a weight class, but she's one of these girls that's, you know, pretty big and strong for the weight class. And I think she'll put on the weight properly. So don't think she's going to be weak necessarily at 125, but she's definitely going to be a tiny bit smaller, but like 1 inch is like literally nothing. So I don't think that's a big problem. Technique wise, I think Valentina is maybe got a little bit of an advantage in the striking, whereas I think Zhang is like maybe got a little bit of advantage in the grappling, but it's so close. They're both so good and so well rounded. This is truly like the two best fighters in each division that are like, and it's not even like you can say like neither of them are taking the fight seriously or their training camp seriously. Like these are two people, even more so than the main event, but these are two people at the highest level that like these are the elite. Like you look at like the Tiger Woods in a sport, these are like the two Tiger Woods of that division, like each one of them. Like they're just unbeatable, right? So when you put them against each other and you try to see who wins, it's pretty tough. But I do think that I really want to pick Valentina, but I do think that Zhang Weili is just going to be a little bit hungrier and a little bit like she's younger. And I don't like to use the younger thing as like a reason why she's going to win. But I think like technique wise, they're both so experienced and so good and so well-rounded. And they both know all the techniques so well. That's going to come down to who can push themselves farther, right? I think that person's going to be Zhang Weili, but this is a really tough fight to pick. So I'm going to go Zhang Weili to win, but I would be stoked if Valentina won as well. Last but not least, we have Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. Really tough fight to pick, obviously, because Makhachev's coming up like 15-pound weight class, and Jack Della JDM is just so good, like in the striking and the grappling and transitions. He's got really good takedown defense and everything like that. So really tough fight, but I do think this is one of the fights that, like, although I want JDM to win, I just think, man, I think Islam's one of these guys that's just he's just unbeatable. Like he's just so well rounded, and he just always proves he's at another level than all the other guys. I think that he's going to do that in this fight. I think that he's going to come up a weight class. He's going to have a tough fight against JDM. It's going to be one of the tougher fights of his career, but I think he's going to be able to find a finish or a sub. And I think it's going to be one of these fights. Bye, Sky. See you. I'll give you a hug quickly.
Good luck with everything.
You too. Best of luck. But I think it's one of these fights that I think he's just destined to win, if that makes sense. Like, I don't see Islam's like kind of run ending in this kind of fashion. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, obviously he gets pieced up in the boxing by JDM, but not that badly. I think definitely badly. JDM's really good at mixing it up, but I don't know. I just see Islam being one of these guys who's just destined to win a fight like this. Like, it's just one of those ones. Like, you put Conor against Khabib, and it's like, okay, like, unfortunately, this is just like how it's gonna go. And I think this is this kind of fight. But I could easily see JDM winning. I wonder what the odds are. in favor of Islam. I just think Islam's got a lot of really high level experience over a lot of years training with the best. And this is like a dude that we're talking about. Like, I know JDM is like training really hard and focused, but he's eating pizza on fight week and stuff like that. Like, and you know that like Islam is just, he's been in his fucking cave in Dagestan, like just training for the last 35 fucking years nonstop every day. Eaty, sleepy, trainy every day. That's all he does. So he's going to be one of those guys that's just really hard to beat. So I'm going to say Islam wins this fight, but tough fight for him for sure. Yeah. That's my predictions for this fight card. I hope you guys enjoyed. I tried to get it out before the fights. Obviously, I know it's kind of last minute, but it is what it is. We're on training camp, so we gotta make do with what we can. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the recap later, probably tomorrow or whatever. Doses.